She is now Acting Assistant Superintendent, Alicia Piggott. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Brother B.
Yes.
Good morning, Mr. Cox. Good morning, Tobago. Welcome back, Brother B.
Thank you,
good
darling.
morning to everyone wherever in the world you are.
Very good. And let me say that she has climbed from constable to inspector right here. Rise and Shine would have given her endorsement. Me, call it. I say you're going to become inspector. Hey, it happened. No, she is acting assistant superintendent, and the acting, we go get rid of that just now, and you'll be superintendent. Congratulations.
Yes, Brother B, because I guess we've been climbing, and every time we've been climbing, we always have been having the acting before. So ever since, right? So the corporal was acting, then there was acting sergeant, then there was acting inspector.
Excellent. I know you're going to eventually become and have your portfolio. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, let's get into it. Good news. There's some stuff I heard, but let's deal with the good news first.
Well, Brother B, there was several arrests as it relates to possession of marijuana for trafficking. Then we had also where a young man would have gone before the court for 93 grams of marijuana, and he was fined $12,000 and to pay forthwith. Now, we might say 93 grams, why? But once you remember you have a 30 grams that you can have on you. And he was just charged sometime in April, according to him, for a pound of marijuana. And he come back now, and he's still paying the fine. He is still, because he would have gotten time to pay. And you come back now and been arrested again, and you will fine $12,000. I think, 1 year hard labor. So and 12,000 forthwith, and he didn't pay it forthwith, so he had to go to the prison. You had several persons also being arrested on outstanding affiliation warrants. Now is the time that the women would make sure they go to the court, and if you're not paying for the child, remember school going to open, you would make their way to the courts, sign for the warrant, and you have to either go before you go before a master, and then you would eventually pay the money, or you go to prison. So we had several of that also. And the not so good side, I saw where in Mason Hall, in your village, a gentleman in mask with a cutlass placed it next to the neck of a gentleman, and took up. The gentleman had the money is in a box. So when he gets it, when the man with the cutlass who was masked, got into the shop, and he put the cutlass to the man's neck, before he could even say anything to the man, his eyes would have gone to the box that contains the money. And that changed the situation, and he took up the money, and he left. So there are two issues there. One, you have to find other ways in securing your monies. Don't make yourself a soft target. All right? Additionally, the gentleman would have put the cutlass to his neck, and we thank God that he was not harmed. All right? And if there's a video footage that is going around on social media, and the gentleman, the victim, he didn't put up a struggle or anything. He allowed the gentleman to leave. All right, and we are getting some information from the public, and we hope to have an arrest soon.
Excellent, and I hope that is taken care of. Anything else?
But if there's anything, I know you, Mr. Cox, who is always on social media, will wake me and shake me up.
All right. So I didn't see anything. I think thankfully this weekend was a peaceful one. I didn't see any.
It was. There was also good news where the police. The Sherburne Road Police, the Gang Intelligence Unit, they would have recovered rifle, right? And I think it's 2 rounds. And when you talk about rifle, I mean, a firearm is to kill. And getting a rifle off the street, that is good news for the Tobago public. As I said, a rifle.
All right. I just want to ask, even though we know that Tobago has no police in school, however, 5 schools throughout in Trinidad will have armed SRP police. Was Tobago approached, or was there any concerns from the TTPS here in Tobago to have police in Tobago schools?
No, Brother B, we have not had that. I haven't heard of any, and we haven't had it. But throughout the Tobago space, you have different stations and sections who have adopted schools. So they visit schools regularly. All right? So, and then the principal will know if something happens in the school, who to call. All right? But the Tobago space, we haven't had that as yet. If it is coming on board, I don't know, but it is not there as yet.
All right.
All right. I mean, I guess in terms of the topic for this morning,
We still at back to school. I know if there are children who are listening on the radio whilst they're going to school with their parents, we're asking them to be alert. Be alert of your surroundings. When you get to your school, some of them are going out to a new school. Learn your school. Get to know the school surroundings. Do not go where you ought not to go. Ensure, I'm not saying that there are boundaries at school, but you cannot walk into the principal office just like that. You would have to ask permission. So you know your classroom. Do not go to your classroom and later on in the day, you cannot find which class you are in. When you are going home, ensure that the taxi that your parents would have hired for you, ensure you know the taxi, you know who the person is. If you are going in a maxi and going to various places, and going to maxi is going to the various villages, do not go into the wrong maxi taxi. Ensure you know the maxi. Get acquainted with the driver of the maxi. All right? Practice safe travel. Ensure that when you're leaving school to go into the maxi, you pick up the correct bag. If you're not sure that if you go to your class and you realize that there are persons who may have a bag similar to you, when you get home, let your parents know so you can have a tag. There are lovely, beautiful tags selling at stores.
Okay.
So you can tag the bag. All right? Emergency preparedness. Ensure, as I said, you know the surroundings of the school. So if something happens, you know where to run to. You parents who have children who may have some medical issues, ensure that you speak to the teachers at school so they will know that, listen, my child has to take a tablet every 6 hours or have to take a tablet after lunch, right? So that because children are very inquisitive. And then a child may see a child putting something in their mouth and they run to the teacher, Miss, you know what I see? So-and-so taking something. And then the teacher would not be so alarmed because they would have been spoken to by the parents.
All right.
Right?
I want to ask you a question, and it's, so what child should or shouldn't do? I want to ask you this, because I am struggling to accept that we need police in schools, and this is me asking. When does the principal or the teacher alert the police? Let's say a child is hard to manage or can't control. What remit does the teacher have, and when does the police, or when is the police alerted to enter the school? When it deals with a child who seems to be indisciplined, would not conform to what he's instructed by the teacher, when does the police come into the school?
Well, you have the soft and you have the hard.
All right.
I would say the teacher, on realizing that there's an issue in her class, she will contact the police and have community police engage the child. But before that, the community police will come, get the information from the teacher, and get the parent's name and contact number. And then they will contact the parent, make an appointment with the parent to bring in the child.
Is it the teacher or the principal supposed to make that
But
call?
either way, remember, it is the school.
All right.
The police doesn't have a say on who does what.
Right.
It is up to the school how they have their rules, how they have their practices and their policies. But once the teacher feels that, listen, some kind of intervention, the teacher will contact the police. The teacher will give the police the parents' name and contact number, and then the community police will make the contact and have the parent bring in the child and have conversations. If the community police realize that it is something that somebody else has to do, like, let's say, counseling, then they would make the arrangement for the child to have counseling.
Right.
But then you have those children who are fighting in schools, who are disrespectful to principals and teachers. Then the police will have to take it in a different way. Just before the school term was closed, I remember a student put a bottle of urine in a teacher's drawer and then put it on social media. And then the child would have gone around now telling persons Miss P in the classroom in a bottle. Now, when that sort of situation occurs, then then you have to have the hard hand approach in dealing with that.
Right. Now,
right?
And just on the flip side, quickly, Mr. Cocktail, when it requires the soft hand approach.
But that's why I said
No, the training. No, I mentioned training. I want to get there. All right. So let's say that the officer who had responded to the call recognized that this is not within his remit. He's not trained in maybe child psychology or whatever. Is he or she to refer this child to, let's say...
That's what I said.
Right.
They will talk to their persons. For firstly, there is the victim and witness support in the police service that they can refer them. They can speak to persons under the umbrella in the Tobago House of Assembly in counseling to have the child counseled, right? So that's what I'm saying. So you have, the police can go either way, right? But when there is the hard-handed approach, persons are fighting in school, persons are stealing in school, they are disrespectful to the principal and teachers, then the police have to put their foot down and deal with the situation. And especially also too, sorry about that, also, it depends also too on the parent and child. The parent may say, listen, this is our first time, we want to have the child warned. The parent may say, no, listen, you see me? My child cannot take this bullying, cannot take this situation. I want the person to be charged. Now, if the person is in secondary school age, they could be charged. Okay. But if you are under 10 years old, you are DOLA income packs in the primary school stages. If the child is under 10, I think
DOLA income pack?
Yes, you cannot charge. The person cannot answer to any charge. Okay. The person is not the mind is not as mature, so there is no you cannot do any charging. So you have to have counseling, you have to have conversations with the child and parent, right? But if it's in secondary school age and the child and parent wants action, you don't have a choice but to institute action.
In terms of building trust, so I can remember and it still happens. The police, certain parents, as a tactic also, would say, hey, I'll call the police for younger children, right? But the police can be seen by the students as enforcers, right? Enforcing the law. But what is in place, or is there an approach from the police to not only see police officers as enforcers, but as mentors and the softer touch that you're talking about?
Yes, because the police goes into the school and they have conversations. They play football with the children. They play basketball with the children. They may go on an excursion with the children. So you would see that kind of situation, those kind of things playing out that will allow the child to look up to the police, not only as an enforcer of, rigid. They would, because even recently, when we have those going, and we still have it, where the police going into the villages and playing football and also having the football clinics with the young children. And the persons who are doing the clinics are police officers. So children have the opportunity to see the police differently than a person who is rigid.
What about the school rules? So individual schools will have their school rules.
Yes.
But a student or students may break the school rules in that particular school. Would that warrant having the police involved? And let's just take, for example, you're loitering in Scarborough and you're bringing your school into distribute because you have on your uniform and you're involved in...
But remember, you're loitering in Scarborough, you're no longer in the school compound.
Right.
So the police now will come and... Because many a time you see the police sending persons home. Persons used to be liming in the Port Mall. That is the Port Mall and by the taxi stands, and I'm looking for the early morning. They stand up there talking. The police will come and talk to you and tell you, listen, get into a taxi, put you in a car.
But you're putting them in a car because you're concerned, but not necessarily because you're
not because also concerned as the police officer, you are ensuring that the person goes where they have to go. They are the man in your house or the woman in your house and you not putting down your foot, then you want the police to police your child. And if you want us to police your child, well, then you will have the child will have to stand. All right?
Right, and that's where the sad part is. But anyway, let's come now to, in Cutler Hall, we have 2 primary schools. There is a one-way traffic from a particular time to a particular time. Remind drivers, because school open today,
and I
a fella would
it,
forget that this is a one-way traffic.
I spoke of it last week, Brother B. I spoke at asking persons not to forget that the Anglican and Scarborough Methodist primary schools, in that area, it is a one-way. I think it's between 7 and 9. And then in the afternoon, the same thing happens. I think it's between 2 and 4 or something like that, or 2 and 5, something like that. And it is one-way traffic. So you take the route off
from this
no.
And good morning, Tobago. Good morning to the world. Welcome to Rise and Shine. I am Deryck, Brathwaite.
Girls, speak up. Do not go to school and become, like we say, long time a dummy. Something occurred in school. Speak to your teacher. Speak to your parents. Do not speak to the stranger who is giving you a sweetie for you to come with them. Speak to your parents and your teachers. All right?
Very good.
And I want to thank the public for continuously partnering with the police, for continually giving us the information so that we could go out there and do what we have to do.
Very good. Excellent.
There was a teacher charged recently.
And I spoke about it, Mr. Cox.
Okay.
Before, in the past, approximately 15 counts of sexual offenses.
Okay. All right. All right, and we want to thank you, Acting Assistant Superintendent. Get used to it. All right, so we get it. All right, again, thank you, ma'am. And it's a pleasure. All the best to you.
Yes, everybody, be thanked.